Hello, I'm back for another review. I've accumulated some new Eldritch collectibles, music related, horror movie related. Show you some cool things that I'm into right now and just stay active online. I'll start with this album, Head Over Heels, by a shoegaze band I think a lot of us know. I think it ties, in my opinion, with their first album. But I really love the song 5, 10, 50 Fold. That song is really mesmerizing to me. I like it. And you know, the lyrics in here are very ambiguous, but I like that. It leaves a lot to the interpretation of the listener. It's very mysterious and ambient. I like that about this band. I really have become interested. I also really like this album by an artist called Merker. I got this from Amoeba Records, and she basically blends folk music qualities with black metal. But I kind of like that, and I think it's unique. And I think that on this album, the track Dipt I Skavin, which means in the woods, I think, is really inspiring to me. My friend, a drummer in one of my bands, has kind of got me into black metal a little bit. But this album by Merker, it combines different qualities of different genres of music. And I definitely recommend giving it a listen if you're interested. It's not tranquil and peaceful at all times, nor is it heavy and chaotic at all times. It's an interesting blend. I do collect vinyl, not as much as CDs, but I was at a place that I really like in Hollywood called the Record Parlor, and I found this album that I like by Alice Cooper. It's called Killer. It has some really interesting tracks on it. Desperado, Halo Flies, and one that I really like is Dead Babies. I know that's controversial, but it's like the second to last track. And I used to think that it was a song by the Shadow Project. Roz Williams covered the Dead Babies song off of this album, but I didn't know it was a cover until I listened to this. And then I realized that that song, Dead Babies, by the Shadow Project with Roz Williams, is a cover of the song that Alice Cooper created. And that to me is really interesting because I always liked the Roz Williams version of this song. And so I realize now that Alice Cooper was liked by Roz Williams, which is interesting to me because Roz Williams, as a lyricist and a singer, inspires me. So this is definitely an interesting album historically, as well as it's enjoyable to listen to. It's rock and roll, and it's got some dark stuff on it. I really like this band. They're very controversial. The singer came under fire for some personal allegations not that long ago, and I think that kind of slowed them down, but you know, they're really unique, and I'm impressed by their music, so I continue to listen to them. And they're an interesting band because they're a two-man band and they have a very full, totally brutal sound. It's crazy. They don't sound like the typical. Of course, this is pure just black metal. This is not, yeah, I mean, it's black metal. One thing that's interesting about this band is the song titles, the album titles. For example, the name of this album by Inquisition is Bloodshed Across the Empyrean Altar and Beyond the Celestial Zenith. So that's pretty wild. I mean, they have these really long song names and song titles. Yeah, it just seems like they put a lot of effort to go the extra mile in order to make their music more original, more expressive. I like it, yeah. I went to a store called Red Zone recently with a friend, and they've been around for a long time. So I finally got to go because I think they recently changed locations. But I got some patches, and one of the patches I got here is Rudimentary Peni, which is anarcho-punk, really dark, and the artist is interesting. Who did this? It's the singer of the band. He has apparently some visions or something, and he makes this really interesting kind of nightmarish artwork. You can find it online. His name is Nick Blinko, and he creates his album artwork. But yeah, I like Rudimentary Peni, so that's a really cool patch to have. Yeah, I didn't put these patches on yet, because I wanted to share them here first, but I also got Creature from the Black Lagoon because it's just a great horror movie. I've always liked it. The third one is Phantasm, which is probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I love the soundtrack in this movie. It's got to be my favorite horror movie soundtrack, or one of them, probably top 5, top 10. It just keeps going the whole movie. The music just keeps playing, and this movie is wild. Recently, I realized about this line of toys that has been releasing a lot of horror movie characters, including Bela Lugosi's Dracula. I picked this up at a discount because the store that was selling it was closing down. I didn't realize that there is actually something called Lugosi Enterprises approving these products. That's really interesting. There must be a lot of Bela Lugosi action figures, but yeah, I think it really just captures his likeness really well. So I picked it up. And of course, you know, Dracula by Bram Stoker has seen many different iterations, but we all know the Bela Lugosi version. So it's really cool. The Face of the Screaming Werewolf. Now this is a really interesting movie. This is like one of those movies that is popular for being so bad. Kind of like Plan 9 from Outer Space or something. But Face of the Screaming Werewolf is basically two movies that were spliced together in order to make a full motion picture. One of them was, I think, a mummy movie, like a mummy, and the other one was a werewolf movie. And they put them together, and it just doesn't make any sense at all when you watch it. It's really funny. And it has Lon Chaney Jr. in it. Yeah, this is a weird movie. I still have been reading comic books lately, so staying on the subject of horror movie stuff, I've been reading Morbius. Apparently they're going to make this into a movie with Jared Leto playing the vampire. But yeah, Morbius is a vampire. He's famous for being the enemy of Spider-Man originally when he was introduced. Morbius used to be a biochemist who accidentally turned himself into basically like a pseudo-vampire as an accident of one of his experiments. So anyway, these comics, I picked up a giant collection of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying them, I don't know what to say. He looks cool. It's a good vampire story. I love this movie, Critters. I got the chance to go to Halloween Town on Magnolia Boulevard with a close friend of mine, and I picked up this t-shirt. Critters is sick. I mean, it's like, they're little gremlin creatures, but they kind of ball up into a little ball and roll around, and they can combine into a giant ball to make like a monstrous thing. Yeah, it's kind of like Gremlins, kind of like Ghoulies, but you know, it's well known, and it's a fun movie. The movies just get more and more zany, like the more you watch them. So it's definitely a cool t-shirt for horror movie lovers. I love Critters. I like Critters, Ghoulies, Gremlins, all three. Wrapping up here and moving on to jewelry again. While I was in Halloween Town in that area and on Magnolia Boulevard, I got the chance to go to the Mystic Museum. They have a really cool like attraction right now, which is like a blockbuster VHS rental scenario full of horror movies and all kinds of funny bits and bobbles. You could walk through it. But in their shop, I got this taxidermy bat, and I fashioned a necklace out of it. I mean, I'm an animal lover, but so I don't know why I got this. I guess, you know, it was already dead, so I bought it. I mean, I'm not vegan, but I'm pescatarian. So, you know, I don't know. But honestly, it looks cool, and I've always been fascinated with taxidermy. And, you know, I like bats, so a dead bat on my necklace, okay, a compromise. But, you know, the Mystic Museum is really cool. And yeah, taxidermy is pretty cool. It's an interesting little dead bat. I got this while I was at the club. It's a necklace with a little vial on it with a golden chain. But what's very interesting is inside the vial, what you'll see is snake bones. And yeah, it came with this little card for the shop that sold it. Dark to Decor. I think they have an Instagram and an Etsy account. So yeah, this is a really cool little necklace. It's a cool little piece of jewelry. I'm definitely going to wear it. So yeah, that's my most recent reviewing cool stuff video. I'm trying to think of a new name, but I haven't thought of one yet. Anyway, so you guys can let me know where you guys are at in your path with horror movies or dark 80s music, heavy metal music. Yeah, drop in the comments, like, have you ever seen Critters? What do you think about that band Inquisition? Do you like Alice Cooper? Do you like Morbius? Do you read comic books? I really appreciate all of those followers I have here for interacting and checking in to see what I'm up to. I'm just staying active, you know, letting you know where I'm at. There may come a day when I do these more often, I think. But, you know, for the time being, I hope you all stay safe, because these are all very strange times we're going through with this epidemic. So many people are losing their jobs. So I hope that this video brought a little bit of escapism to you, maybe, or, you know, showed you some new things you could get into during this time. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the video. So if you haven't been here before, I do these every now and then, and I also upload footage of my bands, kind of every other video is how I do it. Just periodically uploading every couple months. So feel free to subscribe if you're not, or like, drop a comment. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and checking this out, and see you guys around.